I got a C in chemistry, and it haunts me to this day. Because I was never able to be valedictorian or salutatorian because of that one class. But, now that I'm older, I understand science is so vast that it can be really whatever you make it. Chesalhalt pesia usli tamquisten chamke luisquest, chiskel ustem cheat sinyelaman. Hi everyone, my name is Rose Bear Don't Walk. I am Bitterroot, Salish, and Crow, which are both tribes that come from the state of Montana. I grew up on the Flathead Indian Reservation, which is in the Northwest region. I am a second-year PhD student at Montana State University, and I study the relationships that the Salish people have formed with traditional food plants over history and currently. So the study of ethnobotany is the combination of two groups of study. The first one is ethnography, which is the study of different groups of people, cultures, and societies, how they operate, and the scientific study of botany, which is more about plants' physiology, where they grow, what habitat they grow in, what's their seasonality, different aspects of the scientific piece of how plants grow. Ethnobotany, to me, is really about what the relationships my people have formed with plants over millennia, in particular food plants. So how are they used? How do we know them? What are the different stories or aspects of language that are associated with them? And how do we come to know plants in our local environment and treat them in a respectful and gracious way? As an ethnobotanist, when I look at this image of a wild rose, the first thing that comes to mind is the beautiful color it has on its petals. One of the questions that would come to mind would be, does this come in different colors? Is it only in pink? Does it come in white? And then a follow-up to that would be, where did these color varieties come from? Did people cultivate them to have those specific colors? Or is that just how they have been throughout time? Another question that would come with that would be, how do people know how to distinguish the wild rose from other flowers in the landscape? Looking beyond the petals, I wonder about the fruits. So all flowers make a fruit, but not all fruits are edible. So I would wonder, is the fruit edible or is it not? What kind of fruit is it? I wonder when the growth season is. When does the flower bloom, as opposed to when is the fruit ready? If it's edible, when can we eat the fruit? Kind of looking farther out, if you look at where these plants are located, are they in specific areas? Do they grow all together? And then bring in ethnobotanist perspective into that is, did people cultivate these plants? Did different groups cultivate them or one single group? Do we know how they cultivated them? Was it through seeds or was it through cutting of the stems? And then finally, when you think about people interactions with this particular plant, I wonder what stories are associated with the wild rose. Does the wild rose have a different name for it in different communities? And also, what is our relationship with this plant? And does it teach us something? And do we have to take care of it? I think first and foremost, my identity as a Salish woman has shaped my work as a scientist because it has given me the foundation to really understand culturally, and also, through my soul and my heart, how we're supposed to interact with the natural world. However, when I was growing up, I wasn't very good at science. I think I was pretty mediocre, and I wouldn't call myself a scientist at that time, but it wasn't until I was older that I truly understand that a lot of the things that I grew up doing, whether it was going to first feasts with my community or digging camas with my aunties, or even going to ceremony in my tribe, those are all the things that built up how I understood the world. And scientifically, all of those things are rooted in concepts in the environment. And so I had a hard time calling myself a scientist because in my mind, the concept and look of a scientist was some guy in a white lab coat in a laboratory. And what I grew up seeing and what I now understand to be science is my community, and specifically Salish women, going out, being in the environment, digging roots, taking care of plants, sharing stories, learning the language and sharing that and passing it down. And all of those things have come through generationally to build up this incredible, I guess, field of Indigenous science. And so what I know now is that I'm an ethnobotanist, I'm an Indigenous ethnobotanist, and my people were ethnobotanists before the concept of ethnobotany was even created. For a long time, my people have been on the land and learning and sharing and loving these plants, and to have that being passed down and for me to be able to learn it now means that I have a really big role, but also a duty and sense of belonging in this field because there's so much knowledge imbued in Indigenous science that can be shared with the Western science world. In my mind, a good question is something that makes you really excited, whether it's about the outcome or what you're going to learn, something that enhances what you know about the world or what you want to learn about the world is really at the root of a good question. So something that just gets your heart going and you're really excited to learn more.
Did you enjoy this video? It's actually part of a free unit on crafting better questions. Check it out in the link in the description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.